Hello and welcome to the review. Today I'm going to be talking about I Am Anis. This is out on Circuits TV, which is an app, and it's also something you can watch on your browser, so you can watch it from your laptop or whatever. I'll talk more about Circuits TV later. As of now, let's talk about the movie. The story, direction, and production is by Biodun Stephen, and the screenplay is by Mannie Oiseomaye. I've been practicing that name. The film starts with a rebellious young girl, Anisola, or Juliana as she likes to be called, who goes astray. We then see the same Anisola some 30 years or so later as an oil magnate and philanthropist. Both stories of young and old Anisola run in parallel to explore the differences in the same character and the same character's journey with ups and downs. A focal point here is when her son's about to get married and the bride's uncle recognizes her as a prostitute from her past. Now, this movie has an interesting commentary on choices made and their repercussions. So, in fact, the movie plays out as three chapters, which is rebellion, repercussion, and redemption. Faith forms the base for the film. And even though I'm not a fan of faith-based films, in this movie you can't help but appreciate how the biblical quotes and references add depth to the narration and the message that the film has to give. And wherever you are on a scale of atheist to religious, this film resonates with you. And I'd say that that's one thing Biodun Stephen has done brilliantly before as well in her 2022 film Breaded Life. There's that same thing at play over here as well. The other thing about this film is, of course, the woman centricity of the film. As a speaker, the character Anisola, while speaking to a crowd, she says that women are sentimental beings. In Pidgin, she says, we dey carry people matter for head. Okay. I don't think my Pidgin is that good, but yeah, so she essentially says that women have this tendency to carry other people's problems on their heads. And then she goes on to say that how that's actually a strength. So that sort of commentary on women is outstanding. And the movie explores different shades of women through the same character. And that is, very interestingly done. The same character is a rebellious teenager. The same character is a prostitute. The same character is later on a loving mother, is a businesswoman, an influential speaker, a philanthropist. And it's incredible how seamless all of it is. So a huge round of applause for that. There's this, and while we're still talking about women, another very interesting angle in this movie is the angle of women being there for each other in their worst moments. There's this scene where Tina Umba, who plays the bride's mother, has a chat with Shaffy Bello, who plays Anisola, after her past is exposed. And that scene is so powerful. And this women-centric narration is done without male bashing. Even when many men have wronged this character of Anisola, one of the most influential persons in her life is a man. And this film, above all, has that Biodun Stephen signature to it. It's a common thing to say that her films are like hugs, and this film is a warm, tight hug. Again, when we're talking about Biodun Stephen, you have to talk about how skillful she is with depicting interpersonal dynamics and equations. Here again, it's very real, it's very relatable, and some of the characters are also really very well written. One that stands out for me is the uncle who outs Anisola's past. He is this overzealous man. He's the type of guy who hits you when he has to pat you. That those kind of nuances go a long way in the movie. Technically, the production value is it's better than the average Biodun Stephen film. But that being said, at some points it feels like they didn't dot their I's and cross their T's. Like the sound and music at times are slightly overbearing, or they're slightly louder than the dialogues. You can't hear the dialogues over them. That's just in a couple of places. But that being said, the music is actually on point. Now, I actually might be able to find more flaws in the movie if I put my head to it, but then the movie has so much heart you wouldn't even bother. Now, I have been saying nice things, but it's time for a rant. And the rant is about Circuits TV. I mean, what the hell is the subscription model? We're talking $4 for one movie. I mean, that's atrocious. Like, even Netflix is like close to $7. And when I'm saying $7, I mean any number of movies for an entire month. But here, at least the movie was worth it. So my rant is a little less harsh. Imagine paying $4 and watching Ada Omo Daddy. I mean, I would have gone bonkers. And the worst thing, that's not even the worst thing. The worst thing is the subscription is for 48 hours. I mean, it's such an unreasonable deadline. Like, who are you, my boss? Like, what's the meaning of this? Geez. Anyway, back to the movie. Let's move on to the performances in the movie. Lina Odoko as the younger Anisola is a treat to watch. She gives such Kende Bankole vibes, and she looks a bit like her too. You know, from rebellious to distraught, from student to prostitute. She does so much of heavy lifting in this film, and she does it in a memorable way. You know, great job over there. Toyin Oshinaike as Anisola's father. He really captures this angst of a single father whose daughter has gone out of hand. It's a great job there. Shaffy Bello as the older Anisola is classy, sophisticated, and vulnerable. She portrays immense strength, you know, even in her weakest moments. Fine performance over there. Tina Amba, as always, she's a powerhouse, and she brings so much warmth and power at the same time. It's unbelievable. Charles Inojie, he plays that annoying uncle. I mean, his character does stand out, and he brings the zeal that the character needs to stand out as well. Biodun Stephen, well, here she plays a pimp. The last time I saw her in front of the screen, I don't remember where it was, but I wasn't really impressed. But that's not the case here. Here she's this overbearing character who is business-minded, who's money-minded, but she's nice once those things are taken care of, and she brings that so beautifully to camera. So she has done a great job behind the camera and in front of the camera. And now the last actor I want to talk about, Mr. Macaroni, Adebayo Adedowale. He plays David, the son, and I have to say he's a very unusual choice for this character because, you know, he's popular for comedies, and having to shake off that image over here was not a simple task, especially when you have a character who goes through extreme emotions, because Mr. Macaroni's brand of comedy is one of exaggeration. And, you know, when you're used to doing exaggerated emotions, and here when you have to do extreme emotions but short of exaggeration, that is a very difficult task. But Mr. Macaroni has nailed it. You know, over here you see him as David and not as Mr. Macaroni, and that's a win. In conclusion, all I would say is that I Am Anis is exactly the type of cinema that I watch Nollywood for. You know, $4 is expensive, but if you give me this type of cinema, you can chop my money. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. If you've seen the movie, do let me know your thoughts on the movie, your thoughts on my thoughts. Do like, share, subscribe, and until next time, this is me, Nollywood Fellow, saying bye.